I wasn't truly this whole offseason. I wasn't really thinking about it. I was just trying to get better. I know it needed to be done this whole offseason, so that was my focus. And, yeah, getting it done this offseason and talking to the Jones family, it was awesome to, sign the deal. I wasn't really worrying about it. It was super far in the back of my mind because, like I said, I was really focused on trying to get better this year and making sure, I'm taking my best foot forward this season and just be as consistent as possible.
Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys. Shotty said you got paid, so now you can pay for that engagement ring. I don't know if that's already paid for now. That's Shotty, it wasn't me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was already paid for, but no, yeah, definitely. Just my whole family's been super supportive these last 2 days, and my fiance, she's been my rock through this whole thing, and yeah.
When did this contract get to the nitty gritty? Steven said you guys started talking a week or so before the start of training camp. Really got hot and heavy, and y'all finished it up this week. Just talk about that and how quickly it got done.
Yeah. The Jones family, I cannot thank them enough for believing in me and being able to have those relationships with them, Mr. Jones, Steven, that means the world to me. And being able to have those conversations, those real conversations, and be straightforward in them is special to me. And like I said, I'm really thankful that they were believing in me, and I'm excited to get going.
Jake, Todd Archer with ESPN. What goes through your mind when you're putting your name down and realize what you're getting and all the work that you've done to get here? What goes through your mind?
I just think about all the people who helped me get here. It starts through youth football. My grandfather, my dad, who was my coach through it all. And then, we go through college. My tight ends coach, Mickey Turner at Wisconsin, Paul Chris, the head coach there. And then getting here, my whole journey here, luckily I've had the same position coach, Lunda Wells. And, with all those guys I named, I wouldn't be here. And this whole football journey and getting to this point, it's money, but it also doesn't change things. I still have to prove everything. I still have to get out there in between the lines and work my tail off. And, the ultimate goal is winning as many games as possible.
How much better can you be?
I don't have a ceiling for myself. I try to come in each day with one thing to work on. And, that's my focus that day. I try to stay where my feet are. Don't try to look too far in the future. Don't try to look too far in the past. So just being where my feet are and trying to be as consistent as possible. That's my goal.
John Machado with The Athletic. Obviously, the money part is important, but why do you want to stay, as a Dallas Cowboy?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Like I said, the Jones family, through the whole family, getting to know them through my 4 years here, 3.5 years here, it's been awesome. And then the people here, the people in Dallas. I love Dallas. I love Cowboys Nation. People say, oh, there's other spots you could go. And I remember sitting down. I was like, I don't want to be anywhere else. And, playing here is awesome. And like I said from the start, it's a privilege to wear this star.
And then, obviously, the engagement. Now this, those are some big life-changing things that have happened. And what has it been like these last few months with all this stuff happening?
Yeah, it's a lot of great stuff happening. But, as me and my fiance say, not too high of highs, not too low of lows. We try to stay pretty neutral through our excitement. But yeah, it's definitely a happy moment for me and my family.
Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram. Whenever you were going through the conversations with your agent about wanting to get it done this offseason, we had talked back in Frisco, and you had said that you knew you didn't have a great year last year. Why not want to put down a better year this year and negotiate over the offseason? Why was it important for you to do that?
I know what I'm capable, and I know what I want to do this year, and that doesn't change if there's $100 million or zero. So I'm going to approach this season the way I would approach any season, and that's how I'm stepping right now.
When you look back to your first camp and now signing that deal, I guess this morning or last night, has there been any moment that you've been able to kind of center back and think about the journey so far?
Yeah, I think it started happening when I started getting some texts from especially some of my old coaches, some of my old teammates, and just thinking back to where I was. My college coach was one of the first dudes to text me. And he not only helped me on the field, he helped me as a man and helped me to become the man I am today. And I could not thank him enough. And then, believe it or not, me and Lunda Wells, Coach Wells, sit down pretty often. And, whether it's talking football or talking life, I'm I've been super blessed to have coaches that not only help me on the field, but help me off the field as well. And, that just prepares me for moments like these. And, first thing he said, don't go blow it anywhere. And so, I already told him, Dub, me, I'm not going to do that anyway. So not something that comes immediate, but yeah.
Hey Jake, Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. You have a lot of reference for Lunda Wells, and I just spoke with Lunda, and it's mutual. When you talk about the consistency and synchronicity of being able to, you came in and he's been your tight ends coach ever since. He remains, which thrilled you, and now he's thrilled that you're going to be on for the next several years. Just talk about how important it is to maintain that level of consistency with the same tight ends.
Yeah. I mean, he demands it, and I demand it from myself. And then when we put our two heads together, it's a hard force to stop, and especially when we're clicking and when we're in those meetings and we're grinding. Like I said, it's hard to stop. But he's awesome. I tell this all the time. There's coaches out there in the NFL, especially, who, they're just out there to coach, and they're just out there to coach between the white lines. Lunda does stuff outside of that. Like I said, he comes over and he'll come chill at the house. I mean, we had a conversation in my backyard for about 2 hours one time, just talking life. And I mean, that helped me tremendously. And that's been going on for 4 years. So it hasn't just been, now or just because there's a contract. It's been my whole 4 years here. And it's not only me, he does it with the whole room. So
I know that you guys have such a close relationship, and you wanted to remain in Dallas no matter what. But did it help grease the wheels a little bit that Lunda is still here for the foreseeable future?
I'm sure it did, probably. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a force. And when he's a coach that has a mentality and a standard that's easy to buy into, because he's setting that standard for yourself, and he knows what you're capable of. And so to have him just keep harping on me, and that's how I respond. I love that kind of coaching. Like, get after me. If I'm messing up, you better get after me. And he does that. But then, when we're out of there, it's like, hey, let's get serious. We could have those hard talks, but also we can have some fun.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. Schottenheimer called you an enforcer today, saying that he likes the way you play. Where does your enforcer mentality come from?
I think that starts from my grandpa, Grandpa Alvarez. He's always taught me to protect mine. And so, in camp, we're going against ours, so it's hard. But at the same time, I'm a very offensive-minded guy. So if I see something happening on the offense, I'm going to step in. But, I mean, it also starts with Shotty. He's created that brotherhood system. And from day one, we weren't even playing ball. It was just create those relationships and talk about the hard things in life, talk about those hard conversations that, as men, we might not want to be having. And when you get to have that, you get to know the guy on a deeper level. And so when you are out there, it's like, I don't want anybody to mess with this dude. This is my brother, you know what I mean? And for me, I'd fight my tail off for him.
I know it's still early, but part of the Pickens trade was also what it could do for other guys. Are you still seeing kind of the effects of maybe having another weapon to go along with CD for what it could do for you?
Yeah, I think it's just weapons all over the board. And, it opens up the run game, and when the run game opens up, it starts opening up other things, and you can start getting creative. And that's what Shotty's doing, and it's fun, and it's going to be exciting.
Following up on that, with Jared Bell, USA Today, following up on the question about Pickens, what are your early impressions, especially from the context of a guy who came in with a lot of questions about chemistry?
Yeah, well, I actually met him in the draft process. I believe we were up in Green Bay at a local pro day, and he was up there. I've always thought he was a great guy, and him coming in here just made me smile. Him seeing the locker room, right back to normal and right back to chatting it up. So, I'm excited to see what he can do. And then, he gets on the field and he's explosive. And like we talked about earlier, it's just going to open up that much more things. And, it's going to be a fun one.
Well, at the end of practice, he makes the play, goes all the way down the field, and then you and CD go down and celebrate with him. What does that say about maybe the chemistry that's forming?
That's just finishing. You know what I mean? That's how Shotty set that standard for practice. We got to finish, and we didn't know it was the last play. George didn't know it was the last play, but he knew he had a good catch, and he's going to go score that ball. And so me, CD, going down, congratulating him, and then getting back. We didn't know if we had another play or not. So, that's just the standard.
Mike Leslie, WFA. Have you ever had a coaching staff
obviously, but from top to bottom, the energy out here is just different. Even at any level, have you ever had anything like this?
I mean, maybe like flag football in second grade, but that stopped immediately. No, I mean, the energy here is contagious, and you can feel it out there. I mean, you guys can feel it, and you're not even on the field. So, you know, that's just a testament of what this coaching staff does and how this coaching staff approaches each day, but also to the guys who can buy into this and, you know, keep that energy. If the coaches are just bringing energy and the guys aren't you know, reciprocating that or buying in, you're going to feel sort of, you know, a drop off on that energy. But it's energy through the whole day, through the whole practice, and that's a testament to the coaching staff, but also the guys who are buying in.
The next level of that is, do you feel like it helps?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, imagine a low energy football team. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, the high energy is helping, and you know, I think it's important that we keep that energy consistent throughout practice and throughout camp, and that's going to lead into the season.
How motivated were you from this offseason? Because last year you had no touchdowns, you had a lot of health issues, and you were trying to overcome so much. How motivated were you to say, that's not who I am?
Yeah, that's the first season I've ever not scored a touchdown in my whole life. So feeling that sting was definitely something. And then, you know, it's also same time, like, what do you like? That wasn't anybody else who played that season. That was me. So fixing it, and you know, if I was going to do the same thing I did off season and expect something else, I'd be insane. That's the definition of insanity right there. So I knew I had to change something. Changing my meals. I mean, my fiance helped me with my food and stuff, and then just training harder and running more and kind of setting it up different. I took a whole month out in Nashville with who I was for my pre-draft training. And yeah, just figuring out how to do something different, so I know that, hey, like, I need to set myself up for a big year this year.
Cutting out red meat, or what was that?
250 grams of protein, and then trying to kill all sugar, and then, you know, just healthy fat. Like, I was an Oreo dude. I love Oreos, but yeah, I mean, cutting all that out and just being really strict on my protein, and then making sure I'm just eating. So.
Good on-field relationship with Kirk, really seeing balls, things like that. How's that developed?
Yeah, I think that developed just through our play. You know, me trusting him and him trusting me, being at the right spot at the right times, because I know that's where I need to be. And, you know, our offense does a great job of giving me that information where, hey, this is what Dak's thinking, and this is what his, you know, his drop might be, or three-step drop, or whatever it may be. And this is where you are in the read. This is what your depth has to be, and just being consistent in all that. So he knows, okay, if I don't have this, you know, Ferg's going to be there, and I know he's going to be there. And then also just the off-the-field stuff. You know, he's one of the greatest guys I've ever met, one of the greatest leaders. And, you know, to be able to play with him on this field is awesome, but also to be able to get to know him as a man, it's even better. And, you know, get that advice from him and just hang out. You know, it goes a long way when that's your quarterback.
You mentioned Nashville, that you worked out there, you had tight end, they asked you on the radio about it, Taylor Swift, you were like a little kid being her.
It was cool. Yeah, it was cool. I think they took that quote out of context. I was just joking. But, no, it was really cool. And, yeah, it's a great summit to go meet all the guys and to, you know, create the camaraderie. Yeah, it's cool.
All right. Oh, Christy, you got one?
The fan, we saw, unfortunately, Brevin leave early. I know it was just a few minutes before you came over here. Did you get to see him after practice?
You know, Brevin's a tough guy, and I'm really proud and excited to see what he's going to do, because he has a lot of potential. And, you know, as a Midwest guy, Big Ten West guy, I don't even know if the Big Ten West is a thing anymore. But no, dude's tough, and dude's going to battle every way he can, and I'm excited to see what he can do and what he's going to do.
All righty. Thank you, Jake.
Thank you, guys.